Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5 Qapla, and I needed to make this video because at least for the third time now, I've heard a large and influential YouTube channel get it wrong about the Apple TV original series For All Mankind. I support these creators, they're usually spot on, and we can have differences of opinion. We don't always like the same thing, and if it had merely been a different opinion, then so be it. However, what I heard was factually false, and that I cannot let slip idly by. For All Mankind is an alternate history drama focusing on the space race. It was written and created by Ronald D, who, among other things, has extensive history with Star Trek, and that's good Star Trek, mind you, and also the very awesome 2004 Battlestar Galactica reboot. And for those credits alone, sci-fi fans should be checking out his latest work. Currently in season 2, it's airing weekly on Apple TV. The first season aired at the end of 2019, and as Apple TV originals, they're not available on any other platform, and that's likely the biggest hurdle to viewing. Apple TV doesn't have a lot of great content, but it does have a 7-day free trial, and it's only $4.99 a month if you decide to keep it, and that's with no commercials. A third season has already been ordered, so that would probably be coming out sometime in 2022, though no solid dates were, no solid dates have been put out yet. Both the first and second seasons have 10 episodes each, and each episode is about 1 hour long. And again, that's without commercials. So that's solid hour of content per episode, and that's really nice compared to what we've been getting on shows available on things like Disney+. The first season more or less begins with Russians landing on the moon shortly before Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were to lift off in Apollo 11. We know in the real world, Russia was in no way capable of landing men on the moon in 1969. But for the sake of this story, we have to believe that they could and that they did. And they take the world by surprise and manage to do it. Okay? The world instead watches cosmonauts land live on TV. School children remember the first words of Russians rather than Armstrong. This causes a lot of issues for NASA. One of the least is which is the plaque that was already connected to the lunar lander for Apollo 11 that they have to pull off before Apollo 11 launches, because it says that it's in this spot Earthmen step on the moon for the first time. And also on that plaque, it states in part, "We came in peace for all mankind." And that is where the series gets its title. From the Soviet landing onward, we see an alternate timeline of politics, culture, and technology as seen through the eyes of NASA officials, astronauts, their friends, and their family. The first season was written as with a solid conclusion in case there were no more seasons, and its 10-episode arc is extremely satisfying. I've heard more mistakes, half-truths, and outright nonsense about this series from people who told me what it was about but had never seen it themselves, and I can assure you it's not what you think it is if you've been getting your info from the same places I had been. I myself didn't watch this show for at least 6 months because I was told it was based on some plot where Russians were the first to send men to the moon, so NASA decides to be the first to send women to the moon. And unfortunately, in the times we live, it sounded like a perfectly plausible plot line, so I didn't question it, and I ignored the series. Indeed, it wasn't until I set up my 7-day free trial of Apple TV to watch the Tom Hanks World War II film Greyhound, and I found myself with 6 extra days that I said, hey, maybe I'll go check out that For All Mankind just in case and see how bad it actually is. But you know what? I'm very glad I did. Without spoiling the show, it is in no way what I was told. It's not about NASA sending women to the moon first. In fact, the first Americans to go to the moon are still men, and even in this alternate history. That said, because of the change in history and for reasons totally believable in this alternate timeline, the story of women's equality changes. And yes, women do get involved in the space program earlier, but they do not take over. And at no time does NASA become all women. Women play parts in the show at first as wives, girlfriends, mothers, and assistants. And as time goes by, women pilots who had been qualified to fly in space under the Mercury program were called back for Apollo. And in our real world timeline, these women did exist, though they were never called back for Apollo in our timeline. They never got to go to space. The first season spanned several years, including a fair amount of time on the moon. And the very final episode of the season, there's a post-credits scene that gives a glimpse of the future that you don't want to miss. And it's easy to, because they don't use post-credit scenes until that final episode. As I record this, I'm halfway through the second season. And while I still say the first season was better, I'm still looking forward to the weekly drop of episodes. So far, it's been a mixed bag. I generally like the episodes that take place on the moon and in space a heck of a lot better than the ones that focus on Earth-based drama. But the most recent episode 5 that I've seen was a big improvement, and I hope it continues throughout the rest of the season. So this is not a show about women going to the moon. It's not woke, but it does deal with race and gender roles and how they changed, or would have changed, may have changed, if things were just a little bit different. But make no mistake, this show has rockets, it has moon landings, it has explosions, Nazis, fast cars, crashes, dogfights, fathers bonding with sons, space ants, and lesbians. Hot, hot lesbians. Even better, Star Trek references.
Just driving over here, I saw Wrath of Khan was playing at the Outbound. Maybe you could sneak out. We could catch the late night.
Kelly and I saw it last week.
So yes, you should give Ronald D. Moore's For All Mankind a try, especially if you already have your 7-day free trial of Apple TV. And you don't need Apple TV to watch it. If you have a Roku or Amazon Fire, they've got apps. If you have an Android device, there's an app in the Google Play Store. And if you don't have any other way of watching, you can just watch in a web browser at tv.apple.com once you sign up. Episodes drop every Friday from now until the end of April. And if the show falls apart, I'll be sure to put out another video at the end of the season. But even if that were to happen, I would still suggest watching the first season in full. For at the worst case scenario, watch the first 10 episodes of the first season. It is well worth the watch. I mean, a great 10 hours of entertainment in that first season alone. And it doesn't require a second season to be enjoyable. If you check out For All Mankind and otherwise enjoy my video, please remember to comment, like, subscribe, click that bell icon for notifications. If you didn't like For All Mankind, please feel free to tell me how bad my tastes are in the comments. With that, Qapla all, and bird out.
Oh. Was it good?
Yeah. Then Spock dies.